All right. So I like to do a little process called GID. I've been doing this for about 25 years and teaching it for 25 years. And GID stands for gratitude, intentions, and delegations. So first, I'm going to ask that you close your eyes, become very, very present, breathe very naturally. And I want you to think of 5 things, could be people, places, things, events, experiences, feelings that in this moment you are grateful for. And silently give gratitude for each one. Just take a moment for each one and give gratitude. Now we'll move to intentions. I want you to come with 3 intentions of how you choose to show up right now in the present moment and experience our time together. What are your 3 intentions? Again, just breathing naturally. Declare to yourself each intention. D are delegations. These are not to-dos. Delegations are things that you right in this moment are saying, I don't know how, so universe, I'm delegating these to you. Take them on, take them over. I want you to take maybe the top 3 things that you just don't know the how to. How is that going to happen? Just take a moment and release that out to the universe. Actually see them drifting up in a big pink bubble, just going up to the universe as the universe completes the how because you don't need to. Take another moment. Focus on your own breathing in a natural state. Don't force it, don't push it, however you naturally breathe. Make sure your feet are on the ground, even if you're sitting, so that you feel very centered. Another moment just to feel your own breathing. Anytime you want to be centered, just close your eyes and go back to your own breathing in its natural state. And as you're ready, slowly open your eyes and get present. And we'll begin. There you have a process, GID. Thank you for letting me share. So today I'm going to share with you 15 things that you can do to be unstoppable so that you can achieve whatever it is that you want in your business and your life and your relationships and your health. And when I really looked at what makes people unstoppable and some of the most successful people on the planet, in my experience, is that they're actually doing what I call the right things each day, things that will move them forward, that will create momentum, that will lead them towards the things that they really want to achieve. And we're going to actually look through some of these. So, what's a right thing? I'll usually know if I'm doing a right thing because I feel focused, I feel excited, I feel relaxed, and I want to spend time on those goals. There aren't things I'm pushing myself to do, they just come very naturally to me. Not only do I want you to be unstoppable, I want you to be healthy while you're unstoppable. That doesn't mean grinding and hustling. I've been able to build all 8 of my businesses in an easy, effortless, joyful, peaceful way. And by taking care of my needs, and health is definitely one of them. And then I want you to ask yourself this question. Are you unstoppable or do you easily get stopped? And just to teach through experience, my cell phone 2 days ago took a tumble into water. And this wonderful waterproof cell phone, nah, I have the green screen of Apple Death. I didn't let that stop me. I didn't get in a panic. What am I going to do? I don't have a phone. Went, okay, maybe I'm meant to get a new phone. Everybody says, Terry, you love purple. You should get the new purple phone. Okay, clearly I must be meant to get that phone. I gave gratitude. Okay, my cell phone went in water and it doesn't want to come back. Cool. That's less time on the phone for me right now. And I realized my iPad still rings and I can still text from it. So I didn't let that stop me. Instead, I believe find a way, make a way. Success is the only option. To become what I call an unstoppable force, there are certain strategies that you can apply. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. And one of the first ones does start with moving your body. Now, I don't mean you have to go to a gym and you have to lift weights or you have to go run a marathon. Just mean that each day, every day, we need to move our bodies. You may notice that I stand. I stand all day. My day starts usually, I get up at around 6, I do my meditation, my practices, and about 7, I'm in my office. And I typically close down around 5 p.m. I stand all day. Why? The human body isn't designed to have your spine crunched over. It's actually very unhealthy, number one. And number two, you cut off all energy flow and you cut off the oxygen to your hemispheres of the brain that allow creativity. I stand all day, every single day. It enhances my mood, it decreases my stress, it clears my mind. And whenever I am working with a client and I'm doing some consulting or whatever I might be doing, I'm constantly walking around with my headset and not sitting in a chair. So, some form of exercise basically move your body, move it or lose it. Goals. Yeah, we've all been taught you have to have goals. The truth in my mind is you have to have thoughtful action. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the sense of posting on social media unless there's a purpose? No one needs to know that, you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch or, something silly that's happening in your day. People post all their anguish on social media and they share all their issues with everyone. I really look to post a goal. In other words, something that has a purpose. Why am I posting what I'm posting? And by the way, if you follow me on social media, there's strategy behind everything that I post. While it may seem very random, being very transparent, there's an intention and a strategy. So have goals. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you creating content that you're creating? Is it really necessary? Is it really needed? A lot of times client family members come to me and they're like, I have to write a book. And the truth of the matter is you don't. So I'm the best-selling author of over 47 books. I don't advocate anybody do that, okay? Writing is a hobby of mine. It's a passion. I've had clients achieve $100,000 a month and more without ever writing a book. No one needs to write a book. If you want to write a book, write a book. If that's not your thing, don't do it. If you don't want to be on social media, don't do it. Have very intentional goals and know why you're taking each action. Don't just follow the crowd and do what everyone else is doing, because sometimes the crowd isn't successful. Without goals, what I find is that people don't really know what's important. And that's how you get swept up and sort of follow what everyone else is doing because there is no clear path for you. You're just muddling through life. So, in this moment, I want you to think of the one most important goal that you have, the one thing that you're like, really what I want to accomplish. Whether it's running a marathon, whether it's making a huge impact on a client, whether it's having a best-selling book, whether it's attracting the partner of your dreams or sending your kid to the best school, just take a moment. Get that in your mind. One, just one. And the reason I say one is one focus, one goal in my experience is how entrepreneurs build 7 and 8 figure businesses. when they're not focused and they're not clear, they're confused. And they confuse their prospects, and a confused mind doesn't buy. Certainly, I'm a big fan of meditation, and I want to talk a little bit about that. About 30 years ago, I said, okay, I'm going to meditate. I tried about 10 different programs and nothing works. I just was like, oh, I'm either falling asleep or I'm bored. So I actually, one day when I was walking, I love to hike and I was walking, all of a sudden realized I'd been walking for a while and wasn't really that conscious or present. I thought, wait a minute, was I meditating? And so I decided that for me, walking would be my meditation. So every single day, I do the GID process before my feet hit the floor every single morning. And then I take a walk. And during that walk, I allow my mind to just chill and relax and to just let thoughts weave in and weave out. And in that about 20 minutes a day, I feel very present. I feel very connected. And if anything comes up to stress me, so again, being authentic and transparent, phone goes in the water. I'm like, okay, that's not fun. Grab the phone out of the water. And before, you go into panic mode, I said, hey, I'm just going to breathe and meditate and just chill about this for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to delegate to the universe. Figure this out. Either let's put my phone in something, rice, hair dryer, out in the sun, and let it come back. Or if it's not meant to be, I'm just going to give up and give over. Okay. That's what I mean by meditate. In my experience, especially when I have a client who's never meditated, as long as I could get someone present and quiet and breathing 20 minutes a day, they're calmer, they're more present, and they have clearer actions. And I highly, highly recommend that. You can do more than 20. I just do 20 every single day, regardless of the situation. Regardless of the situation. There are times, recently I was on television with CNN, and it was really early in the morning when they decided to tape. So it was 5 a.m. And I got up at 3:30, had to do my hair and makeup and all of that jazz, right? And so I said, okay, I'm getting up at 3:30. And instead of jumping into my day, I still took those 20 minutes and I felt so present and so clear. So I'm really encouraging you to do that. And in my experience, that's where inspired actions come from. When you let the brain relax, those inspirations pop in. You don't have to hunt for them. I'm a big believer in daily habits that are supportive of you. They're effective for you, and they're going to be different for all of us. You probably wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth because that's a daily habit, and you use floss and you wash your face. Those are daily habits. You want to make processes daily habits. GID is a daily habit for me. My clients do it as well. Uh, 20 minutes of walking meditation, daily habit for me. Closing my office door at 5 p.m. and never looking at email, text, or anything else after that, that's a daily habit. Daily habit for me is laughing. Daily habit for me is being present. So you want to start thinking about what's a daily habit for you. And I'm not talking a daily habit like I'm going to post on Instagram or whatever. A daily habit is you connecting to you, your higher purpose, your spirit, and really playing up your consciousness in terms of I'm going to put these into my being so that they become habitual. You don't wake up and go, what am I supposed to do first thing in the morning? Oh, maybe I should wash my face or brush my teeth. You just do it. And when you start to do these processes over and over again, like GID, just becomes your way of being. I believe that having daily habits in all areas of your life are important. I always start with health because if we don't have our health, we don't have anything else. Financial habits, relationship, all of these things. My husband and I have a lot of habits. I have been married for almost 44 years. I am super blessed. I have this like most amazing partner. I'm so incredibly blessed. And we have daily habits. We have a weekly date night. We have a daily conversation. We have a daily time to laugh. We have a daily just be present and listen. We have daily hug time. Okay. More. So what daily habits do you want to have, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with yourself, whether it's with a partner? I have two books that came out. It's just very, very interesting timing. They came out within 2 weeks of each other. That's not normal and that's not my preference. However, one of my publishers held my book that was supposed to come out right as COVID began and said, we're not going to release it because bookstores aren't distributing. You can't do book signings. The second book, it's picked up by a publisher. He gives me the date that it will be released on Amazon, which is the date May 4th. 2 weeks before that, unbeknownst to me, my other publisher releases my other book. So now within 2 weeks, I have two books. Now, there's no way that I could actually, sit and market two books. So I'm literally developing daily habits around each book. Very simple, easy daily habits. Someone asked me the other day, well, Terry, how have you written 47 books and you've run 8 multi-million-dollar companies and you have a TV show and a radio show and a magazine? How do you do all that? You must work so much. Like, I probably work a lot less than most people that I know. And the reason for that is I had a daily habit of writing. I wrote 4 pages every single day. And let me tell you, those books get written pretty quickly if I write 4 pages a day. I don't edit. So I'm going to make a point of that if anybody's a writer. I don't edit, I just write. And then after everything is written, it goes to an editor. I stay in my zone of genius. That is not my genius. My genius is putting the words on paper, not crafting them to be perfect. For GID, you already know I'm a big fan of gratitude, a huge fan of gratitude. So I'll share a personal story with you. About 17 years ago, I was working out with my trainer and we heard this loud sound. Sounds like a gunshot to me, to tell you the truth. I had no idea what it was. And my trainer said, don't move. You're standing on one foot. Something's wrong. Just don't move. He came rushing over to me, and I realized I was standing on one foot, which was a little odd. The next thing I know, as I looked down on my leg, my entire calf just gave way and it became like a line about this big right in front of my eyes. So I had torn my Achilles, so I couldn't put my foot on the ground. So I went to the hospital where they had me wait for 3 hours and I went into shock. And from that, I developed a neurological disease called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And if you don't know what that disease is, it is the most painful disease on the McGill pain scale, which is how they measure pain. So RSD is here, a brain tumor is here. Okay, there's like no comparison in the pain level. And the pain was extraordinary. I was unable to do anything for 18 months. I was in a cast, full leg cast. I was in bed. I was wheelchair bound. The pain was so extreme. When I fundraise, I have a foundation for kids with RSD. When I fundraise, I tell people, imagine someone took all the blood out of your veins and filled you up with lighter fluid and then lit you on fire. That's RSD. It's a constant burning pain. I couldn't wear clothes. I couldn't have anyone come in the room because they'd move the air and that would make me burn. And so I spent 18 months taking 29 medications a day and also getting ketamine, which is elephant tranquilizer and is a huge hallucinogenic. I was completely non-functioning. And after 18 months of this, every night, begging, please don't let me wake up in the morning. Please make this end. I decided that was it. I couldn't take it anymore. So I had friends take my husband out because the poor man was, over me day and night. My dad lived with us at the time. I had somebody take him out. And before my nurse left that day, I said, just do me a favor. Put all the pills on the night table next to me so that way they'll be here in the morning. I think you know where I'm at. And I decided that was it. I'm out. So I had my laptop, which I could reach, and I decided I would write my husband a note so he would understand. Typing my address in the laptop. Now, I had a dog at that time. Her name was Sheba. Big, beautiful, amazing husky. She would never come on furniture in the bed, ever. All of a sudden, as I'm typing, this dog is in the bed with her head on my heart and her blue eyes just looking up at me. She knew. So I continued to type. And at some point I said, okay, I think I'm complete. And when I started to read what I wrote, I actually wrote a book. It is called Magnetizing. And it is out there on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And I'm like, what? And it was a download, clearly. And within the book, I was teaching that you need to be grateful in every moment. And all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, wait a minute. I went online and I realized kids have this disease. And as a very strong adult woman, I couldn't tolerate it. I had a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I had fought men. I had bloody noses and bloody ears, and that didn't bother me. I'm also a professional Formula Dodge race car driver. I mean, I've been really tough, and I was at my breaking point. In that moment, I started a foundation for kids, and I started giving gratitude for RSD. I went, why did you choose Terry? Oh, Terry has a voice. Terry speaks. Terry writes. Terry has a big following. Terry is meant to help people understand RSD. I started giving gratitude. The next day, when my therapist, my physical therapist came, I said, I want to stand up. And she said, you can't stand. I said, I'm going to stand with you or without you. I'm going to stand. Now, I only stood for 5 seconds until I crashed down. The next day was 8 seconds and then 15. Within a few months, I was doing what every doctor said I couldn't do, which was walk. Within a year, I was back in the gym working out. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I don't live with this every day. I do. Instead of pushing against it, I've learned to be grateful for it. Exactly. Grateful for it. And so my mood changed completely. I went from depression and suicide to this RSD is my gift. Thank you. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for allowing me to be the voice. And everything changed from that moment on. By the way, 2 years later, I had gotten off all 29 medications, even though I was told I couldn't, as well as ketamine. And I have taken nothing ever since then. And I mean, not even an aspirin. I take zero. I take nothing. Now, if you say to me, well, Terry, does it still hurt? It's there. I'm grateful that it's there. It's my loving reminder. So I hope that transparent lesson served in some way, shape, or form. What I find, I've worked with about 6,000 entrepreneurs in these 27 years as a business consultant and a life coach and a positive psychologist. I think so many people almost waste their lives away. They're chasing things, they're chasing clients, they're chasing a dream, they're chasing money, they're chasing vacations. I actually don't chase anything. I grew up very poor, as did my husband. I just didn't know I was poor. I thought everybody lived the way we lived. I never saw a different side. My husband did know that he didn't have what other people had. I actually didn't know that. So what my parents taught me was such a gift. They every single day they would say, I want you to think about things in your life, people in your life, and I want you to be appreciative of them. Even your sister, who you don't get along with. She's 7 years older, and we just couldn't be on the same plane. Be grateful for your sister, be thankful for something that she's done, right? And one day I remember she got me a Madeline book from the library. I was like, I can't think of any. Oh, the Madeline book, right? So I always could find something. And this is my suggestion. Stop chasing anything. Instead, focus on the beautiful things that you have, even if it's small. I remember at one point I was doing GID when I had really bad RSD. I'm like, I'm grateful for anything. And then I said, well, there was yogurt in the refrigerator and someone brought it to me bedside. I'm grateful that I got to eat today. I'm grateful that I actually can hold my laptop sometime during the day and I can connect. So I'm asking you to really be grateful and stop chasing. I love spending time in nature and I ask all my clients to go spend time in nature. It has to, in my experience, change your perspective, whether it's snow, sun, beach, lake, I don't care, whatever you dig. I live in Mexico about 4 months out of the year, my home there. I live in Pennsylvania, where I am today, very short amount of time. And then I live in New Jersey, the beach, which I'm a beach gal. So I split time between all three homes. And people say, well, why do you do that? Well, I love, love, love Mexico. I love the nature. I love the culture. I love the food. And I'm out every single day, walking on the beach, hiking, walking through the jungle. That's my thing. Why am I at the Jersey Shore? Well, I happen to be a Jersey girl. I mentioned that last time. Purebred, I believe in Jersey all the way. And I love the beach. And so I happen to live right on the ocean, right on the boardwalk. When I'm there every day, I am just being in nature. And I look around and I'm so grateful. Why do I live here in Pennsylvania? Right outside my window, right across from my home, is a natural preserve. And so even if I don't have a ton of time during the day, I can get out and I can take a 15-minute walk and just be in nature. The presence of what have we here? Flowers and birds and trees. It's all amazing. I remember many years ago, I was snowshoeing in Vermont, and we went from having, we had a lot of snow on the ground, we're having like, a little beautiful snow, to all of a sudden having this, in 5 minutes, this massive blizzard, like total whiteout. And I was a good 6 or 8 miles from the cabin I was staying in. It took me forever to get back. And part of me was like so cold and frozen that the other part of me was so amazed at how nature was bringing this that I kept throwing myself down on the ground doing snow angels. And the person who was with me kept saying, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Look at this. This is a miracle." So take that in, breathe some nature in every single day. So now I'm going to reveal a little something to you. For the last, I guess it's 10 years, 11, I read 200 books a month on average. Now, let me explain, because no, I don't sit and read every word of a book. I do photo reading, and if you don't know what photo reading is, you might want to look it up. So this morning, I read 6 books, and the way that you photo read is you train your brain how to scan a book and to get the essence from the book. I am an avid reader of 2 things. Number one, I love to learn. There's so much on this planet. Like, I just want to learn, learn, learn. Every time I hear, like, even one of you talk, I'm like, what is that? Where did they get that? How do you know that? You give me a link or you tell me a book or you mention a website, I'm all over you. So you mention a YouTube video, I'm like, oh, I want to check it out. I'm open and I'm curious, and I definitely don't think I know it all. I view life as if I know nothing. I'm open and I'm curious. The other reason is because one of my degrees early on is that I was a speech language pathologist. That was my first master's degree. And my specialty was Alzheimer's and dementia. And both my husband's parents had Alzheimer's and dementia as well. I know through lots of proof and lots of research that if the human brain stays engaged, the neurons keep firing, and therefore Alzheimer's and dementia are greatly reduced. One of the ways to do that is to be in nature. Another way is to move your body. And a third way is keeping your brain active through an activity like reading. So my husband always laughs. He says, "Terry, at some point our house will fall down with the amount of books that you have in our home. I mean, there's bookshelves, floor to ceiling, everywhere." I surround myself with knowledge and information and keep my brain active. I really believe that if you want to grow a super successful business, and the way that I started, just to give you some perspective, my first business, I came out of college with a master's in speech language pathology. I knew nothing. They don't teach you business, sales, or marketing. They teach you how to be a great clinician. And here I open a practice, and my husband and I got married. We moved from New Jersey to Danville, Illinois, which is a very small town, mostly corn, very little happening. It had the highest unemployment rate in the state of Illinois. And here I open this practice, right? I have no idea how you get patients. Like, where do they come from? And at the time, we needed a doctor referral. Doctors wouldn't even speak to me. They didn't like me because I was a woman, and they told me that. And they didn't like me because I was from the East Coast, and they told me that. And so I said, how am I going to build a business? Well, I went and I started to read books on people who began businesses and had no business knowledge. I read books on everything. How did they found Starbucks? How did they found Dunkin' Donuts? How did every single company that I can find, I read the autobiographies. And so I learned from reading books what you do in marketing in order to get a doctor to refer to you. And then I got one doctor to refer, one, and he sent me 3 patients. But then I went to the other doctors and said, Dr. Alkammer already sent me 3 patients. And they went, oh, okay. And all of a sudden, this grew in, what year was that? In 1979 into $1 million business. Now, by the way, $1 million was a lot of money back in 1979. Today, it's not a huge deal. It was back then. And that all came out of books. So go get access, because we have access to the greatest minds, the greatest mentors, and the greatest teachers, and they all share their stories. I still primarily read autobiographies of successful people and what got in their way and how they overcame it. My very wise grandmother, when I was a very little girl, gave me this lesson: think before you speak. And that came from me uttering something which I don't recall, and then having one of my cousins run into the bedroom hysterical crying. And I would never intentionally harm anyone. I said something clearly that did. And I don't remember what it was. I just remember the lesson. My grandmother said, words can never be taken back. If you utter something, it is a permanent record. My grandmother was very wise. So I take this lesson directly from her. I think a lot of reasons that people get into problems, perceived problems, have trouble, whatever, conflict, is because they just start saying without actually taking a moment, breathing. Will the sentence I'm about to utter create value? Will it move someone forward and help them and empower them, or will it tear them down? In coaching language, it's focusing on helping and making people right. And so every time before I speak, I ask, will this be helpful? And I ask for inner guidance on them. I will tell you that my second oldest niece, who's probably the closest, I have 11 nieces and nephews, she's probably the closest one to me. She still to this day, and she's turning 40 in October, she was 5 years old. She kept going to her mother and she wanted to play, and her mother was in her office working. And Sarah said, please pay attention. And her mother said, go away from me, you're so stupid. 35 years ago is when she heard that. It still affected Sarah's entire life. So think before you speak. I would recommend that you actually look at your goals every single day. We can get very sidetracked in society. You know, there's constant ads pulling at us, people email and on phones and on text and all these messenger services. I'm very focused on my goals. So today, for example, I went to grab a bite of lunch and I saw that, using my iPad, so because I don't have my phone, I saw that one of my friends was sending me her whole, story of what's happening in her world today. I could easily get distracted and read that right then, or I could say, I'm in my work day and there are things I'm choosing to accomplish today. I love my friend, and I will get back with her at a convenient time. So review your goals so you keep focused on your goals. Find a hobby if you don't have one that you love. Don't do something you don't love, right? Years ago, I was a runner and I was doing marathons. And then one day, a friend of mine said, that's awesome. Do you like it? I'm like, no, I hate it. She said, well, why do you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I really didn't have an answer. I was like, oh, I knew people who were doing it, and I'm like, I could do it too. And that day, I stopped doing marathons. I don't run at all anymore. I love to walk. I love to hike. I found a hobby that I love instead. I love to spin bike. Like, I'm a cuckoo head spin bike. I can't wait to do it. I have a gym in my house, and I have a spin bike, not a Peloton, and I just dig it. Okay. Whatever that hobby is for you, whether it's reading, whether it's dancing, I don't care what it is. Find something that you love and engage in it. Make time for it every single day. Definitely. I'm going to say this, especially with the COVID world we've been in. You need to get out of the house. You really need to get out of the house. So I understand we couldn't necessarily get out of the house and be with our friends for a time, right? I would still do something to connect with my friends, whether it was Zoom, whether it was social distancing in someone's yard, whether it was social distancing at the beach or whatever. I recommend highly that you get yourself out of the house, especially if you work at home. A lot of my client family members, they work at home and then they're there like all day long. They haven't gone outside, they haven't seen outside, and they haven't seen human beings. We have to see people. It is not a normal behavior for a human being only to see people on Zoom. And if we've been doing that for an extended period of time, we need to find ways to do that. So, I'm not going to tell you anything about mask wearing. We're not going to get into that. I'm just simply going to say to you, find your way of human connection that goes beyond being in your house. We need socialism. We need it. And I not only like to be social with my friends and my family, I like to do something fun. I just like to, let's just sit around and complain about the world and politics and COVID and talk about vaccines and blah, blah, blah. No, let's go do something that's fun, whatever that might be. And that's one of the things that I advocate you do regularly. Now I'm going to talk about networking, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit of a different way. I see people all of the time, online or offline, who quote network, and that word is work. They're trying to work at something. I don't network. I go to places where people who are like-minded and conscious and really awake show up, and where I can share in collective energy. And I don't go trolling and hunting for client family members. In fact, I don't have a business card. I tell my clients not to have one. Why do you have a business card? You give someone a business card, and what do? They're polite, they take it, they go home, they throw it in the trash. Okay, totally. They put it in a circular file. And the other thing is, did they ask for a card? I remember when I used to be on the board at the local women's chamber, I would show up at an event and like 10 women would hand me their cards. And I'm like, I didn't ask for it. I certainly don't want it. I'm not interested. If I go to an event and somebody says, can I have your card? My answer is, actually, I don't have a card. I'm just curious why you wanted a card. Because most of the time they wanted to like sell you something. Does that make sense? Okay. So instead, what I say is, what is it that you wanted to connect on? And if they tell me and I think that's worth connecting, I'll say, great, take out your phone and I'll share my contact info with you. Okay. You don't need business cards. So whether it's online or offline, I do recommend that you hang out like we are here with a like-minded group of people. And it's so easy in the world to make those connections now. And I recommend that you do that. Have a group that you can turn to for support. I also tell you to try and connect with people in your local area. So my business is global. We have clients right now, I think in 19 different countries. And I've been an international business since the first month that I started 27 years ago. You just want to also have some local presence. And when people ask me, why do you want to have a local presence? Because in my experience, the more you give to your community, the more global ability you will have. So think about that. Is there something you can do for your community? I volunteer on 4 local boards. I also work at a soup kitchen. My husband and I donate time to one other foundation. And so why do we do that? We're not in there trolling for business. We're in there to give back to our community. And what's very interesting is the more that I have given back to my community, the more that my community has kind of recognized me and celebrated me, which wasn't what I was looking for. We're going to talk a little bit about diet, and I'm not talking about diet as in go restrict what you're eating, because that's diet. And I'm not talking about that, and I don't believe in that. One of my books that I wrote a long time ago is called Create Your Ideal Body, and it's how to just use your mind and consciousness to eat the right way. And people who do it, who want to lose weight, and they're never dieting, and they're like, this is amazing. Well, our minds are what controls what we eat, to be honest with you. So every time you pick up food, my recommendation is that you're mindful. Take a moment before you shove the food in your mouth and give gratitude. I'm really thankful that I have a meal to eat, and I'm going to be eating this amazing hummus. And I'm just so excited that I have the ability to have this. And then I take a moment and I ask my body, does this feel good to you right now? Just to give you an example. When I was, I guess in my 30s, my favorite food was cookies. I don't know what it was. I would just wanted cookies. And every time I would eat cookies, cookies, cookies. And then when I started to get very conscious and really ask my body, what do you want? My body was like, that's a cookie out of the box. I don't want that. If I'm having a cookie, I want a cookie that's fresh baked from a bakery. So now I maybe twice a year have sweets like cookies because I just don't like them as much anymore. if I'm going to have a cookie, I'm going to have the best cookie on the planet, probably the biggest cookie on the planet, and from the best bakery. So constantly ask your body, is this going to enhance? Is this going to feed you and nurture you? And does it feel good right now? I know that we all know what the healthy foods are. I'm not going to give you a, healthy food education. We all know that. I just ask you to be conscious when you're eating. Just be conscious. If you want to eat something that's quote not a healthy food, eat it, enjoy it. If you want to, if you like to have a glass of wine once in a while and that's your thing, do it without guilt. Okay. I really believe that when you eat, you should be very conscious, you should be very focused, and you should be a choice. All right. I want to address your environment. My husband and his family, oh my God, I've never seen so much clutter in my life, right? So my in-laws have this cluttered place. My husband and I get married, and like a week after we're married, we lived in this tiny apartment. We had no money when we first got married. He had stuff everywhere. We barely owned anything. I'm like, you know what? I can't live like this. I felt anxious, and all the time I felt distracted. So my office literally has only on the desk the one or two items that I'm working on. At the end of the day, everything gets into cabinets and gets put away. There's nothing left. So when I come back the next day, I'm walking into this beautiful, clear space, and I notice my head is also clear. Also, when you have a lot of things anywhere in your home, it causes distraction. My One of my younger nieces, one of the 11, her and her husband became very successful early when they bought a house in the Midwest that was 10,000 square feet. This thing was like a giant. Her closet was bigger than my bedroom, it was just giant. And after 3 years, she called me and said, we're selling our home and we're moving into a two-bedroom, when she had two kids, two-bedroom, one bath, 900 square foot home. I'm like, excuse me, what? She said, you know what? We want to keep our lives simple and we want our girls to grow up understanding that they don't need a lot. That's exactly what they did. And I will tell you that every time I am with them, her kids are probably two of the most well balanced kids that I've ever seen. And they're very clear, husband, wife, kids, about their goals, what they want. They don't have all these choices. The girls gave up almost all of their toys. They consciously chose which ones to keep. And the girls actually decided they preferred to share a bedroom and a bathroom together. Who knows? So look around and ask yourself, how can I have less distraction? I can tell you that I know where everything is in my house. Now, my husband, I love him. He's not me. He has to look for keys 10 minutes every day. The other day, he wouldn't know where his wallet was, right? My keys are in a certain place, my wallet. So we're really different that way. And I watch him spin and I watch the disorganization and it causes some chaos. I choose peace. I always choose peace. And so inner peace to me comes from the environment. Number 15, sleep. Make sure that you do get enough sleep. Now, during these COVID times, I work with a lot of natural health and wellness professionals, and a lot of them tell me that they're seeing people who are having difficulty sleeping, and that there's a lot of research on this being a sort of COVID environment thing that people have had. So I have not slept as well, nor has my husband, as we usually do. However, we go to bed at a regular time and we still wake up at a regular time. The human body, if it is just laying still, breathing still for 4 hours, just 4 hours a night, actually has enough. It actually does. So even in the nights where he and I we lay in bed and we're both like, all right, we're just gonna lay here, we're gonna breathe. We're not gonna watch TV, we're not gonna read a book, we're not gonna turn on electronics. We're just gonna lay here and we're going to breathe. And eventually we have had those 4 hours. So I really ask you to have enough sleep. Your brain needs it, your body needs it, you need it. These are my 15 tips to make yourself unstoppable in business, in life, in health, in relationships. There are little things that you can do every single day. Sometimes people say, what's the big change I have to make? Nothing. I don't believe in it. Okay. I have made major transformations in my life, major. And none of them were from jumping and leaping and rushing to the finish line. Slow and steady wins the race. I literally just do tiny actions every single day. So I'm going to give you an example. You take a piece of paper and you divide it into 3 columns. And on the left-hand column are your current beliefs. Skip the middle for now, go to the right-hand column and put in the new beliefs that you're moving towards. So let's just say you want to write a book and be a best-selling author. So your current belief is, it's too hard to write a book, I'll never get it done. You go over to, well, what would the ideal belief be? I wrote a book, it was easy, and people love it. Okay. Now, I don't believe in affirmations the way many people do, because what I believe is the human brain, as a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, goes, that's not true. You're 20 pounds overweight and you're like, I'm thin and I look amazing. I'm thin and I look amazing. And your brain is going, that's not true. Okay, so instead of that helping you, it's actually hindering you. This process works. These are my current beliefs. This is where I want to go. In the middle are your bridge beliefs. And a bridge belief is a tiny little thing that you can believe that's somewhat true. I could write a page today. There you go. Now, if you write a page today, tomorrow you may go, oh, I'm going to write 2 pages. It's these tiny little things that move you to where you want to go. And when I established my second business, we sold the business for around 12 million, and we did a couple million the first year, and that was in 1983. And people said to me, oh my gosh, you like went so fast, like overnight. Maybe that's how it looked to the outside world. It was baby steps. Slow and steady wins the race. So keep that in mind. Last comment that I actually have to make, success is not hard. So I don't believe in hard, easy. I don't believe in positive, negative, except if you're showing me a battery that has a positive side and a negative side. Everything just is. You label the experience. Oh, that was such a horrible experience. Was it? Or could it be the best experience of your life in retrospect? I got fired from a job. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur in 8 multi-million-dollar businesses, and my ego took over, and I thought, I'm going to have a job. Well, I didn't fit in at all. I'm an entrepreneur. So I get fired, right? I remember driving home going, nothing could be more humiliating, more embarrassing, work experience in my life. The next day, I start my consulting business. 30 days later, I have 30 clients, and I'm making more money than I made in a business that I hated, doing what I love. I'm like, oh, thank you, thank you. So now the way I live my life is everything just is. Nothing is hard, nothing is easy, nothing is positive, nothing is negative. I don't attribute these kinds of terms. I constantly do things that feel right for me. I'll say that again, that feel right for me. They may not feel right to the general public or to each of you. It's got to be an individual, an inside job. So if you want to connect on a deeper level, we have about 6,000 very conscious spiritual entrepreneurs here in my Facebook group. And it's a very different Facebook group. It's not like most of the groups. Follow me on Pinterest and Instagram and like page, and I'll like yours, which I don't understand the concept, to be honest with you. I go in every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I do a training. You have the opportunity to also do things like that within the group. In the file section, when you get accepted, there are tools and resources and templates. I literally just give my best stuff away. So if you kind of resonated with any parts of the conversation, I invite you to join. And then my request is to hear from each of you a word or 2 words or a sentence, whatever resonates, of something that you're taking from this time that we had here today. So I know whether or not I created value, because that's what I came to do. So who wants to go first?
I just loved everything. It was so confirmative. It was
Mm,
so revisiting. There's so many of the things you pointed out that a lot of people here they've heard me say similar, if not the exact same thing. Nobody needs more than 4 hours of actual rest, rejuvenation every night. But the medical profession tells you to take 8 hours. Well, why? Well, when you look at 4 versus 8, 8 makes you lazy. And then you need coffee to get up in the morning. And it makes you dependent on so many other things. And we have to do away with beliefs, period, in my opinion. I think that what stops everybody is turning believing into a belief. You make a
You.
brick and you start building walls out of these bricks. As long as you're in the flow and just believing, you don't have limiting beliefs. All beliefs limit and slow you up. But there are certain things you do need a wall, you need to rest on, and foundations based on truth and faith and step by step. I've never fallen for the leap of faith. I can't do that. A step of faith, I can't not do, but
I love the way you language that.
all
Yeah.
these things, just to have you put them all into one thing, it's just, again, confirmation after confirmation. I am so I feel so much better about myself. I've mentioned to people, there are sometimes my body says I want a donut, and if I don't honor that, if I push it off for 2 months, 6 months, because I'm dieting, because I'm not happy with my belly, I'm not. But if I say, oh, if I have that donut, it's going to make it worse, in 2, 3 months I have to have a whole damn box.
I
But if I
understand.
go to the best donuts in the world, which is right down the street from where I live, that's even part of their name, and get one donut twice a year, I mean, 3 years, I went 3 years without needing that donut because I honored myself. So it's
Beautiful.
just
Mm,
lovely to hear somebody. I'm wrestling with neuropathy. I know
mm.
that's nowhere near RSD, but it is above brain tumors on the scale. Exactly what you said. All day, every day, there's the fire, there's the lava that from the knees down. But something that hearing you talk about your experiencing, noticing myself and the way people have regarded me, it you went through something so traumatic, yet you have a smile on your face. You stand, you perform, you are unstoppable, and you teach other people that they can be unstoppable. You don't teach people how, you assist people. You just teach that they can make it, and then you assist. This is how you can do easily, smoothly, succinctly, consistency. It's all those little words. We've been talking about semantics a lot in this group, and everything just came together so beautifully. So thank you for that. I can't wait to hear well, these are three of the 6 people that I regard as the highest people on the planet are here in the room with us. So this is going to be a treat.
Great. Who else? Sandra?
Yeah. Well, Terry, it was truly an honor that you shared this amazing heartfelt knowledge. I really I want to say, wow, you're an amazing human being. It's really, I don't know how to express how grateful I feel of being here with you, you sharing this with us. I'm getting to know you more through this presentation. I can't wait to connect more with you. You are a true example of strength and of a true heart, being strong, successful. Your presentation, I loved it. Similar to what Martin said, it's uh, simple, 15 steps, to be unstoppable, that everybody can actually put their minds into accomplishing it, all of that in their own way, in their own time, space. And yeah, it's truly an amazing tool that I believe we have to definitely take it to, well, you're already doing it to amazing levels, but I do believe it's an amazing work that you've created, to really give people the opportunity to not sit down and just think they can't, because we all can. And thank you so much. I really admire you, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to connect. Thank you so much. Arlene, Ronnie, who's next?
I'll go next.
Excellent. Thanks,
Oh,
Arlene.
Terry, I am so in the moment and thoroughly enjoyed your presentation. And I just feel it. I'm glowing just from your words, actually. I have shivers, actually, of how um, I feel connected to you right now, and how much I would love to just jump all over the world everywhere I could to share with everyone what you have to offer. And including myself, I would love to reach out with you and learn more from you. I absolutely loved your presentation, how you speak, how you present yourself. And I love also, yes, that you're not trying to create people in your image, let's say, that you're encouraging people to discover on their own who they are and what's best for them and what they need to do to move themselves forward. Not that you're offering a way that, you know, you teach and this is my specific way, and if you want to be successful you have to do it my way. It's about discovering for yourself what works for you to move yourself forward. So thank you so much. I just feel wonderful after your presentation.
You are glowing. I see this just big glow, smile, your eyes lit up. I'm really glad we're connected. Really feeling. Thank you. Ronnie?
Hello. Yes, finally me. Um, um, I feel very humbled listening to you, and I listened very carefully, and I immediately checked your website. So as soon as I have a moment, first thing I'll do is watch that Start Here video and start from there. And I've also applied to join the Facebook group.
Love to.
So I look forward to be a part of that. And um, it is the 15 things that you mentioned. Is that from a list that's readily available somewhere on your website, or is I'll have to watch the recording again and actually write it down this time.
It's a special presentation that I put together just for all of you. It doesn't exist outside of this group right here.
Wow. Yeah, because a lot of it is what I got from it is that a lot of it is common sense based on, but it's still things that people don't do, you know. So I found myself, there were some that I had never heard of before, but some I was looking and go, oh yes, I know that. Oh, but I'm still not doing it though.
The trick right there. That's the secret. That's the golden key.
That's it. So now what's going on in my head is, how do I actually get to doing that? And the biggest example out of all of this, which I really, that came as a surprise to me, was the 4 hours sleep. And you know, Margaret Thatcher was a famous person who only slept 4 hours a day. And she said, you know, that's the way of the champions. And I always thought, no. So that's the one thing that challenged my prejudices. I'll have to look it up, because I'm a big sleeper, and anybody who tells me you only need less than what you already sleep, I always go, no.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, you know, we collectively, we're given this belief, like a baby needs this much, an adult needs this much. And all of the studies on the human brain and on the human body for aging show 4 hours of the body being still and at rest with the mind being quiet is worth more than 8 hours of sleep. So
effectively, you could try to meditate
100%.
for that long. Yeah. And what I love is the 20 minutes meditation. And there's a great quote which says, we recommend you meditate 20 minutes a day, but if you're very, very busy, then you should meditate at least 1 hour. I don't know if you ever heard it before, but
No,
I think it's great.
It.
So I loved it, you know, and I think I'm making a commitment to myself to strive to follow those, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Let me
Yes,
know how that.
you could be our guru. You could be the guru for this whole group.
I'm excited. I'm honored. Thank you, Martin, for allowing me the opportunity to connect and share. And I really do hope that the Entrepreneurs with Terry Levine, that you'll ask to join. We'll get you in there and we'll make deeper connections. And I've got some amazing people to introduce all of you to that are very like-minded.
Well, something else that I want to share along that is Joe and I have been in the background. We're restructuring the entire group. We're going to move into more of a mini TED Talks where anything more than 12 to 18 minutes, people get lost normally. You just went for 40 and didn't lose a single moment. Ronnie went for 40. We didn't lose a single moment. The people can do more, but we only have an hour here. So we're going to move into opening with under 5 minutes of a focus. And then someone is going to present for 10, 12 minutes. We're going to do breakout rooms and come back and share, that sort of thing. He's got 20 to 30 people that have been screaming for a place to express more level 7 consciousness. We have been dying for level 7 consciousness, which is what we're named after and for and because of, to take precedence. We're not going to get together and, oh, my week was terrific and I had this challenge and that challenge. That's not what this is for. It's for things like we just experienced with you, with what Ronnie brought, with what Sandra took a whole month to bring. And we're going to get that down into these little snippets that we can listen, we can focus for 10 to 12 minutes. And then we go into breakout rooms as we get more and more people. And I'm looking forward to you. I know 6,000 people is a lot. I'm sure they have plenty of things to do, but maybe 2 or 3 of them or 10 or 20 of them will want to join the new 10 or 20 that we're putting together here.
I'm sure.
And we're going to build that. And we're going to promote. You heard Ronnie's presentation. You know where we're taking this. I know you're on board. You're already looking for your chapter in the book to put your link. And I'm sure there's going to be, after watching that, I'm sure there's going to, I told Ronnie there's at least 5 places that you're going to want to your link. After listening to you today, I'm sure there's 15 to 20 places in his book. So we're going to build that together. We're going to get that book out there because in his case, he does need to write a book. He's one of those that's his soul. It says, "Thou shalt write." He's got it. It's
done and it's written.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's going to be opening that up to the group so we can all get in on that after Arlene takes a pass or 2 at it, because she catches when you need editing, when you need to make sure there are no, she's your, no matter how much you pay anybody else, make sure she takes a look at it. And while she will never ask, I ask people to donate generously because I guarantee she found things that $10,000 editors would never even think to look for. She just has a gift. That is her gift. So along those lines, we're gonna change the format. We want to invite good people, level 7 consciousness. We are here to cure the human condition. We are not here to change the world. We're here to make changes in the world. As I mentioned earlier, all you can teach is what's possible. You cannot teach people how to do. That's like you just did. This is what I'm doing. This is the story. This is my contribution. How does that feel for you? That's all we can assist, we can support, we can guide and direct. We cannot tell people how they must, and look, just the diversity here on the screen. If you knew them as well as I know each of them, as I'm hoping you will soon when they reach out to you for your one-to-ones, you would realize that in a non-level 7 environment, we wouldn't even talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yet by coming together under that level 7 umbrella, we actually love each other. This is such a phenomenal thing, and we're ready to expand. So thank you for everything you brought to us.
So welcome.
And
thank you all. It's been my joy and my pleasure. I actually do have to run for a podcast. So I look forward to connecting, and I look forward to getting to know each of you even better. Thank you for this amazing opportunity.
I'm sorry.